Hello, hello. My name is Dr. Branko Tama coming to you live today from Minnesota. And I'm truly privileged today and honored to be with Frances, who happens to be a real estate agent. And she was gracious enough today to take up her time to be able to share. And on the bridge called Civility, on this segment and this episode marking the first in 2023, we want to welcome Frances Tada. Tad, welcome to the Bridge Call Civility Initiative.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year. It's kind of interesting thing to see how we all roll over into, the new year. I had a couple of friends from even Liberia telling me, oh, I'm in Liberia, I'm rolling over, I'm doing this. But we were stuck here in Minnesota for some reason, the snow. So I don't know, how did it go with you with the snow and everything here for this kind of white Christmas and getting to the new year?
Well, it's been great. I'm so happy that I was able to see 2023. And as I said on my page, Facebook page, I got everything I needed because I'm in good health and I have my kids and family. So I'm happy to be able to come into 23 healthy and having my kids with me.
Yes, that's amazing. For those of you who don't know, Frances Tyler. She's a real estate agent with Remax Results. And due to technical difficulty, we couldn't get all of her information out here. But I can tell you, this is a fantastic, young, energetic, and strong, hardworking woman here. And for those of you who know me, even in my business, I try much as possible to showcase skills and talents, of young women who are trying to make a difference. I've even given a lot of, women entrepreneur job. And I tell people, women have so much skills and ability to do things, and when you give them an opportunity, there are a lot more results you can find out of that. So today, for the topic today, for those of, who watching and who will be watching this later, we decided to end the year going through the discussion, knowing fully well we have some resolutions sometimes people come up with. I don't know about you, Francis, but one of those, down the line used to come up with a resolution. Oh, next year I want to do this, and before you know it, the year run out, get catch up with you, and then you don't have this thing done. You have a whole bucket list piled up. And how is your experiences when it comes to resolution or setting, goals for the following year?
Well, for me, I set goal almost every month. I don't usually just wait for the end of the year to set goals. I set goals monthly and review them, every time, every month that I review my goals. So, but I know there was a time that I used to set yearly goals. Were my long term goals, and nowadays I just incorporate into monthly goals and go with it as a goal. But yes, setting goals are very important because it helps you to keep on track. And most importantly, you have to review those goals. Don't just set those goals at the end of the year and then that's it. You have to review them and you check on your progress as you go along.
Wow, that's really amazing. People like us, sometimes people feel they cannot easily work with us because they're kind of organized, goal oriented. There are always there people, every step of the way, what I've got myself, there have been some goals that are set up. So they're nothing surprising to me. So every stage of my life, it has been planned and something that I work on and then get towards that. So when I see people doing stuff with no goals and things, it almost feel like, I mean, I can't even, sleep a day not knowing that I don't know what to do. I can even wake up in the middle of the night. I have to write something down because I want to make sure a, B, and C. So that's a great, way to do this. And for those the audience out there, the topic today is home ownership and real estate talk. So we are just having a candid conversation. There will be other episodes where we'll come out with more details and more information as it relates to home ownership. But this is passionate on my heart and also on Francis' heart. And we thought, let's just come up here and share this because it's important that Liberians in our Liberian community, Africans, what I'm saying, everyone watching, regardless what level you are, financially or wherever, when you work towards a goal, it can be achievable. I mean, I am a witness here sitting, so we gone through that. Also, Frances out there, she's also a witness to that. So she might have her
Yeah.
own experiences to be what she is today. It didn't just happen, so it all depends on that. So this is passionate. Let me say, Frances, why is this topic so important to you and our Liberian community?
Well, on several levels, it was important to me to educate Liberians because me too, a couple of years ago, I didn't really understand the importance of ownership. I have been in this country for many years, and I did hear that buying a home or owning a home was financially beneficial, and but I just didn't really know the details. And I think because that lack of education, it took me a long time to buy my first home. And when I was buying my second home, that's when I really got into the knowledge of why home ownership was important. And I said, well, if I feel like I'm an educated woman and I still did not really grasp the importance of home ownership, and it took me this long to really fully understand it, I'm sure there are a lot of Liberians out there who really don't understand what it means to own a home, or most especially the benefits of owning a home. So I took it for myself to get a license so I can feel comfortable talking to people about home ownership and trying to encourage them, educate and encourage them on why it is important, that we all strive to get a home because it's just so much benefits into it.
Wow, wow, wow. Thanks so much for sharing. And I think we all have similar experiences. And sometimes people don't understand, but it's what we are, you know. When you get to a certain point of life, you want to be sure and do things in a way that will also, make that impact into your life. So that was just an icebreaker I wanted to go through. Now we will be going through a series of discussion, and friends are going to be feel comfortable. I want us to give us our best, so I'm not just bringing it out here to give you tens of questions or whatever. I want this to be conversational, okay? So when I ask you a question, I also want to see your own experiences because I want the people need to understand why it is true that we have even from Liberia, from the same country, and we are two professionals. Our experiences, as it relates to everything, varies. There might be some similarity, but we all have our own path in a different way. So at this point tonight, this discussion is to be able to share your experiences coupled with mine. So I promise you, when I give you question, I expect the same question back to me because I want to make sure that people get to feel on both sides and feel, comfortable, how you answer it. I mean, we're not coming here tonight to say that we know all the answer, we have everything. We are coming out to share based on the experience that we had, and we are also still in the process to be able to learn and give more to our people. So, starting with the first question, Francis, I know we met before in the Liberian Business Association with Levi, but I have to pretend like I don't know you right now. And I'm just going to ask. So, can you tell more about yourself? Tell more about yourself. The audience listening out there and those who will be watching the video will really get to learn more about you.
Well, of course, my name is Frances Cham. My maiden name is Frances Tyler. First and foremost, I'm a mother of two beautiful kids. I'm a registered nurse. I am a small business owner as well as I'm a realtor. I've been in this country for several years, and I've been living in Minnesota for the last 7 years.
Wow, that's so amazing. As it relates to me too, yes, you know,
Yes, yes. You tell us about yourself.
bringing kids in. Well, I have 5 kids, so
You've been busy.
and I've been rather busy. That's they always say, but it's a good busy. Traditionally, we believe that kids are blessing, and I can tell you, it has been one of a journey with kids to see how better grow. But more to that, even in our professional life, what I've learned that family, kids, they are all part of the process that help us to be who we are. Because it is important, that as you grow as an individual, also understand you have to grow with your family. So for me, I'm a licensed general contractor in the Twin City. I provide residential and commercial construction. But what I realized, I'm also passionate, about getting involved with community initiative, also philanthropic work I've been involved with different scholarship. But I always like to keep things under the same because I'm like, too much of knowledge is not what I'm about. I want to give impact based on people that sometimes will not even be able to pay me back. So when I realized that construction was the way, and still realized that, oh, this is a career, but I really love to do something as it relates to impacting people's life. So it was when I got involved with the Tama Foundation, and I've been providing mentorship, leadership to college students, and also some family and individual, even as it relates to home. So coming out, one of the initiatives of the Tama Foundation is called the Bridge Call Civility Initiative, wherein we recognize individuals who are out there making a difference in the community. And what we have realized, our philosophy is that we can be the bridge that connect people to people. And that's what Bridge Call Civility is about. Bringing people together, bringing expertise, bringing professional to be able to provide information, services, to individuals that can help empower them in a way that will leave a positive footprint in their lives. So, in addition to my construction business, yes, I'm also, a family man. And as she said, I was just kind of shocked, see your nurse, also become a real estate. Can tell you that she got that's a really strong woman, guys. So, okay, now getting back to the next thing. Yeah, why it is true that we are seeing day to day the housing market, there are ups and downs, a lot of opportunity when it comes to that. I have another question I want to come to you, and I would like you to share this with our audience. Why did you decide to add real estate to your career portfolio?
Well, it ties into what I said earlier. When I became a homeowner for the first time, I did not fully understand the benefits of home ownership. So it took me a long time to, buy my first home, even though I was fully financially capable of buying a home. But I really didn't, feel the need, or I had this mentality that I had to buy my dream home as my first home. So when I got into buying my first home, that's when I started to understand the benefits of home ownership. And then I realized that so many Africans, Liberians, when in homes, when I saw the statistic that said Minnesota holds the least amount, if not the least amount, one of the least amount of home ownership, minority home ownership in the country. Minnesota has only 33% of minority home ownership, whereas the Caucasian and other national hold 77% of home ownership. And home ownership, as I got to understand, is where generational wealth is. When you hear people talking a lot about generational wealth, it's about home ownership, because home is where most people value and equity, and the foundation of a family is in home ownership. So a lot of the wealth are held in real estate. So when Africans are not being homeowners, they are not experiencing those wealth, and the wealth is in a certain group of people. And I wanted to make sure I'm able to talk to a lot of Liberians, educate them, and encourage them to get into buying home, because that buying a home can help decrease the poverty and the economic gap that is so prevalent in our society.
Wow, that's so perfect. And sometimes people don't understand, just to add on what you said, when I came in this country and then was thinking that, oh, I'm thinking about buying a home, I want to do this. I have friends who came up to me, why you want to buy the home? I mean, why you want to do that? It's so much work, it's so much expensive to do with that. But I would feel, why would you just want to keep renting and not own it? Especially all from Africa, we don't renting is not one of the things that we're ready for in our DNA. We always want to have ownership because we believe we leave worth and create, generational, investment. And that's why we buy land, buy home, we build things from the ground, and we do a lot of stuff. And so I just say, I want to do this. But I tell you what, after doing that a couple of times, people then got to realize, oh wow, you did this, and I begin to help few people get out of the apartment and help them get through. So that's why I'm glad that you are stepping up in this role, because you here can make a lot of difference in our community. But also helping a lot of other young women realize that, listen, you can have a career, but it can also be a calling. And what people don't understand, No one person was just meant to just know one thing. No, oh, I can't say I'm that. No, we have gifts and talents. You know what I'm saying, that God has given us. So you can be at one point a nurse, another point a real estate agent, another point an investor. All those things are ways that we can leverage. And I tell people it is important to create multiple streams of income. Even with my construction business, I involved with residential, I involved with commercial construction. But guess what? Prior to 2020, when I saw how things were going, and I just forecast my business and look at it. You know what? Things are going good with construction, but what if I add maintenance services on retention basis to businesses who cannot find skilled people to be able to fill in those gaps? And it was something I thought about and then started doing. But guess what? That is bringing me enough income today that even in the winter, when projects slow down with construction, that is bringing continual cash flow. And it's been a great thing. It's booming, it's getting big. And so, just as you also, add that to your portfolio, that was very great.
Yeah, you
One
have
true
to
thing, yeah.
diversify your portfolio. It's always important to diversify your portfolio. A lot of people ask me, you're a small business owner, you're a registered nurse. Why do you want to be a real estate agent? I mean, apart from wanting to encourage and a lot of people to get into home ownership, it's another source of income. And why not? I mean, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket, and nothing wrong with diversifying your portfolio. It's actually
Uh,
encouraged.
wow. Now, let me ask you this, right? Being a woman, a manager woman into the business where you do real estate, what are the challenges, based on your experiences, and what gave you that drive to wake up to say, I can do this?
Well, I was not always this confident or business person. I'm not on a real estate agent. I also have a healthcare business that I run. Um, I wasn't always like this. There was some terrible life events that happened in my life like 4 or 5 years ago, and it rather broke me and then broke me down to nothing. And it was during that time I really turned to God, and I tell people I may not, always be very spiritual, but I believe in God and I prayed. And it was really during that time that I got closer to God. And it was such a devastating time of my life. But there's a man who's down, fear no fall. And I had two choices at that time to either let that situation break me down, or I stand up and become and get better and become stronger and get out of that situation. So that's what I did. And unfortunately for me, I met with a friend who told me about the healthcare business. I was really interested. I really didn't have all the financial backing to do it. But what I did was I created a plan. I had a drive to do it. So I created a plan and went about it. So I tell everybody, if you have a dream, you have a goal, you have to come up with a plan, and it doesn't just work by you just dreaming it. You have to work hard. I worked really hard, long hours, to start it,
Wow.
and after 2 years, I'm happy. So that's what brought me into being a business owner when things went really bad for me, and I knew I had to get up and do something, and I went with it. So I tell anybody who wants a young person who wants to start something, you first have to trust in God if you're spiritual like me, and then you have to believe in yourself. And believing in yourself is really important. And you also have to be a risk taker, and you have to really put in the work. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient, you have to be strong, and you have to put in the work.
Wow. Francis, I'll tell you, when we met at Levi, I was very impressed. Now, the people wonder, what we say, just see somebody get impressed. I've always, admired the drive that's in women. And I can tell you, women have that ability to rise above all odds. You know what I'm saying? I watched my mom going through situation, going through stuff, but she was always at that point where in going through and be able to come out strong. And today I can tell people, I said, listen, if you only know the power of mother or woman, you'll never mess around, because I can tell you, you just can't break out. No, you can't do that, because they will always come back strong and do things. And I'll tell you another thing. That's one of my quotes I have coming up into my book. I mentioned the heart of a mother is the heart of God. And I learned that in life, there's a difference between a woman and a mother. And not every woman a mother. The same with a father. There's a difference between a father and also a man. But I've learned that, and I will have some other thing coming in my upcoming board. I will speak a little bit, more about it. But that's just a sneak peek. But I just tell you, I know what it means. So when saw you that time and mentioned, wow, I was so impressed because not everybody, you know, will see the vision that God has for them, and keep following it. But I see you pick yourself up, but more to that, see what you're doing, getting involved. And I can tell you, since in my lifetime, you will be one of the very few I'm saying having your nursing profession going at the same time, real estate. That's a very smart thing. People don't understand. It gives you the opportunity to even see property before you even get on the market. So
Yes.
guess what? You can decide, even if you decide to expand your business, you see some property you worth putting money into, you can do that. But more to that, you also have another soul. What if you decide, you know what? I know I went into nursing, doing this with the how helping people. Now I want to do the other part of it. And that's it. That's what I do. So I'm just so impressed. And it sounds you answer a few of the other questions that I had on here. And we also talk about the home ownership that you also address. You also mentioned indirectly the importance of, owning a home. So for those of you out there that thinking, that will watch the video, later on and want to learn more about home ownership, as I said, make sure you please message me and I can be able to give you Francia information that have everything. Once again, she is an agent with Remax Resort, and I can tell you there are a lot of great prospects for her. And if you are a librarian out there watching the video after here, I know with the evening and late, some people might be sleeping, but make sure you inbox me and I can be able to make sure, DM me, I can get you connected to her. But I can tell you this is a great woman with so much vision, but more importantly, her passion and her heart to help people grow as she's growing is something we don't find often. So please, if you are looking for the agent, listen, I'm telling you out there, you got an agent who can be in it for you because this is a family person. She understands what it means to own a home and she know what it means as a family, what home is. So I tell you that right now. As we move forward, and we'll be going back to one other question. Now, if we had to look today just based on experiences and not much of a detail or data, can you tell me that renting, if you have to choose renting and ownership, can you talk about more and tell me why one is more favorable?
Oh, wow. I mean, I can spend a whole day talking to you about the benefits of home ownership versus renting, but I'm not going to take up your time with that. But I'm going to touch on few very important points about home ownership. When you buy a home, there are several benefits, and I'm going to tell you, it's investment. When you buy a home, you are investing. And home ownership is one of the fastest, the safest, and biggest investment that you most family will ever make. Or most people will ever make in their life, and it's safe because unlike like if you investing in the stock market or you invest in other products out there, it is more risky. But a home ownership, when you invest in a home, it's less risky. The chances of you losing your money is very hard. I mean, 9 out of 10 times investing in a home is bringing you more money because you are creating equity. Another benefit, as I said, is wealth building equity, because when you own a home, the value goes up. You are getting money back. It's wealth building. When you rent, you do not. It is not. You know, home ownership builds wealth, renting does not. Simple as that. Because if you, first of all, I look at buying a home, like when you put in your down payment or you paying that monthly mortgage every month, you are doing a compulsory savings right there, right? Because after staying at home 5, 10 years, when you sell that home, you're getting some of your money back. And even sometimes you get more of your money back or you get all of your money back, because it depends on the market. Your home value may have gone way up. Like in 2020 and 2021, we saw home value, some money going up as high as 20%. So imagine if you have bought a home 7, 8 years down the line and you sold your home in 2020. Imagine the return on investment you would have been getting. So home ownership just makes sense. I tell people, I can even break it down to give you an example. Let's say you bought $100,000 home. I mean, you don't find $100,000 homes so easily in
I know, right?
days. So it's just hypothetically. First of all, even the down payment you put on a home, you put a $10,000 down payment. Don't forget that down payment putting, it's your money. It's like you're giving your $10,000 to the bank and say, keep that money for me. Because if you buy $100,000 home and you put $10,000 down, that 10,000 is yours. Because let's say the home is valued and worth $100,000. You put a $10,000 down. If you, let's say, sell that home tomorrow, that home you only owe $90,000 because you already put 10,000 down. So let's say if you sold that home for the exact price, which usually doesn't happen, you usually sell a home after a couple of years way more than what you bought it. You only paying the bank back that 90,000, right? And you get your 10,000. So I tell
Yeah.
people, was it all to get to find the down payment of the home? I'm like, it's your money. When you put in that down payment on the home, it's still your money. And then if that home you bought it $100,000, and 5 to 7 years down the road, you sell that home, maybe it has gained equity, gained value. You sell that home for 150 or 175,000, depending on how much you have paid already on your mortgage or that home, plus the value that a house have incurred. If you sold that home for 175,000, guess what? You already put $10,000 down, so you only owe the bank 90,000, plus
Wow.
maybe the 50,000 the house had gained equity, right? You take all the 90,000 and give the bank their 90,000. If that's if you never pay any mortgage on it, which I'm
Yeah.
just hypothetically. You getting that 50,000 or 75,000 equity for yourself in your pocket, right? So how
Wow.
many investment that you will make that after 7 8 years you can make 100 or 200,000 equity or money back on? And I may not be giving the right analogy, but I'm just trying to think off my head that home ownership it just makes sense. Honestly, it
Wow.
makes
No,
sense.
you really hit down the head. I think I tell people, right, we don't need rocket science. Just simple, I mean, as it is, just by data, everything. I also call that full saving, as you mentioned. That's good because I was sharing with somebody, I'm like, it happened to me. We bought a house in 2015 and then had to sell that in 2020. I can tell you, we sold that house and walk away with over $100,000.
Yeah.
Guess what? We live in the house for free. We sold the house, we get profit.
Yes.
And from there, I'm like, oh boy, this is interesting. I never thought. And then I decided, like, you know what? While it's true I'm here, I don't have the mind ready to go and build, my dream home back home. I can get a home here, build a home and make sure that will be well situated where I'm making these payments. When I decide I'm going back home to retire, guess what? I sell that, go along with what I have to be able to make that investment back home and do it.
Yes. So apart from the wealth building, the equity that a home give you, it also give you financial security because the equity that you build up in your home, you can always use that cash that
Wow.
you build later on down the line. For example, a lot of time people, like even for myself, when I was you know here for a long time, even though I was a nurse and was making okay money to buy a home, I felt comfortable renting and I didn't buy a home. But like for example, say you bought a home, right, after 5 years, even if you don't sell that home has gained some cash value. You can take off 20, 30, 40,000 from that home while you still living on it, and sometimes without even increasing your mortgage, and take 50, 40, $50,000 out of that home. You can help your children down the line to put down payment on the home. In fact, talking about helping your kids put down, the reason why home ownership give you financial security, where you build that home value, you can use the money in that home, the cash value in that home, to help your children. You see, a lot of times the Caucasian children come out of a college, 21 years old, most of them don't go rent. They buy the first home. Do you know how most of them are buying their first home? They just came out of college. They don't have that down payment. Some of the family take the equity out of the home, invest it into the kids' down payment for the
Wow.
home, and that way, that's how they continually build and wealth, because then the kids. And one another thing I wanted to stress on, most of the time Africans, we want our first home to be our dream home. That's the mistake.
No.
When I was, yeah, all this time I didn't want to buy a home because I had this dream home in my head that I felt like I had to buy. So every time was I'm like, oh no, next year I will save up more money so I can buy this home, because I had the big closet, the white kitchen in my head that I wanted to buy. But most time the Caucasian or other national to not, their first home are usually not the dream home. Your first home actually should not even be your dream home unless you have a lot of money. But don't get stuck in the fact that you want your first home to be that beautiful home that has everything that you're looking for. Let your first home be the stepping stone for your dream home. Let that first home be the home that you build equity, that you live in 5 to 7 years. You're going to be in an apartment 5 to 7 years anyway. Why don't you buy a town home or a smaller home, live there 5 to 7 years, pay, but then sell the home in the 5 to 7 years, take that 175, 150,000 equity you've got in that home, then buy your dream home. I made that error waiting to buy my dream home. If I had bought a smaller home or a town home, live in it, I rented somebody town home, threw my money away by renting 6 years into my town home when I could have bought my own town home, lived there 6 or 7 years, take
Yep.
that equity, 100,000 or 450,000, then buy my dream home. So that's why I'm encouraging a lot of people to not wait and live in an apartment hoping to get money to buy a dream home. You can right now make a plan and buy a smaller home, buy a town home, and use that town home to be a stepping stone to buying that dream home that you so much want.
Wow, Francis, that's so much more. Trust me, I have been talking about real estate, but just based on what you just shared right now, I think that just straight to the point. I mean, we limit ourselves. We set the barrier that tend to limit us from not even starting the process because we want this perfect, we want this, we want that. Failing to understand that you have to build this thing, and also you build up your home ownership history. I mean, when you go to the first small home, you look at it, it helps set you up for the next big one. So it's good to start that process, and rather than going into something big and get to realize, oh boy, I'm surprised I didn't expect this. And people don't understand. And I agree with you. Anybody that would just want to buy a home to say you want a dream home, well, it depends. Worthy people do that. But
It's like
still,
myself, you cannot
yep.
buy your first home to be your dream home.
No, you can. And home ownership, you have the experience. I have that. There's so much in that come with home ownership. So you also got to go through it and grow through it and see what you're ready to handle. Because you also, the bigger the home, the more responsibility. And guess what? The more taxes Uncle Sam want too. And all those things is something you got to be aware of. And not just when sometimes people just say, oh, the mortgage. No, you have that mortgage, but guess what? Outside the mortgage, you got utility, you get other services and bills that you have to pay towards that how to keep it running. So that's important. So I know we got like 5 minutes of time here, but this is very great. And I'm glad that you will be out here. I know there will be time I will come out with the official flyers when we'll have that done. And we're gonna do it on the prime time where we can have a lot opportunity for people to join in. But this been it been really great, and just seeing you, I can tell you I'm proud of the initiative you carry on. And I want you to be the face of not just a community, but also other young women out there who are hoping to make the kind of a bold step, who are hoping to be able to get into that kind of thing. You'll be surprised to see that woman, female might feel comfortable already coming to you and talk to something than talking to me. But as we go through there, guys, as I said, just DM me if you need more information. You need to connect with Frances. She's an agent with Remax, and she's starting this career, and I can tell you, for one, her character is something I can attest to, and she's a good steward, and she knows what she's doing. And I always tell people, if you do not feel comfortable with your agent, you got a problem, because whoever agent you get that's going after you, make sure that you can feel comfortable with them and you can trust them and know exactly they are in it for your interest. So that's the key thing. Having somebody with family background, business background, all of those experiences is so much more because you also been through ownership. So when you tell somebody, oh, this home, you have things that you can be able to tell them and help them. And I just thank you for that. Just few more run-up questions as we go out here now. Given today, right? I know there will be people watching this thing later on because everybody might be into different right now. But what advice will you give to other young women or other people out there looking forward to taking that step into going into home ownership? What message can you send them to inspire them to take that next step?
Well, as I said before, the benefits of home ownership is just a lot. It's a great investment. You gain wealth, you gain equity, you have financial security because as your home gain value, you're able to have that money in that home as a fallback. So you can draw some of that money out of that home to help your kids to even build your home back home. So the financial security is there. You also have stability and fixed income and fixed payment. I mean, like mortgage payment, you have fixed. Most of the time when you're in apartments, you never know next year the apartment would go up. They might increase the rent, or they might say, oh, somebody might tell you, say, in the middle of the school year of your kids and say, we need this place, or we give you 60 days to go to leave. Now you have to be worried about finding new school. You don't even know if you'll find another apartment in the same area that you were living in. Now you have to relatives rob your children. But when you have a home, nobody coming in to take you out. So your children feel stable. Your family have a stable home that they can come home to every day, not worrying whether somebody going to give them a eviction notice or whether somebody is going to give them a notice to leave. So it creates a financial stability. It creates financial security. It creates stability. Your mortgage payment does not change. I mean, your taxes and homeowner insurance may change, but if you're on a fixed rate mortgage, your mortgage does not change. So you expect to pay the same money year else. So you're able to budget yourself better. You also have tax breaks for home ownership. You don't really get that much. I know they get renters, rebate, and stuff like that. But the tax break you get other home ownership is way more than renting. So my last word to Liberians: we need to stop being comfortable renting. We need to become uncomfortable with renting because I know we can do better. I know you can do better. So let us do better. Let's get other renting. Let's get uncomfortable renting and get into home ownership because that's where wealth building is.
Wow, well, guys, you hear that from the agent, and I'm not surprised why Remax have to make sure they get a hold of her because I think it's important just having that, it help you connect people, to the right idea. It erase that myth, that people have, that fear. So, I mean, the way you talk about this is just so amazing, and I just love how you say it. And the point is, you live this thing, you're not making up. It's something you experience, you live that, and that one thing I always tell people. I rather believe in life experiences because it teaches us things that you don't find in the book. There's one thing in the book. When you get out there, that's another thing. So seeing you go through that is so amazing. I hope that people will be watching. Please DM me if you need more information. If you are sitting on the fence and thinking about buying the home, you need some information. And guess what? Frances can be able to help you. Just give you some idea, and it can all be an appointment that you can set up, and she can let you know. And even if you're not ready, just need to know where you need to be. She can also help you through the process and tell you what the step that you need to take to be at that
That's
point. You
that's
know,
right.
and
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 just to
that's
jump
important.
into that, yes, and just to jump into that, a lot of people sometimes feel like they cannot afford to buy a home, or they are not ready to buy a home, or they don't even know this first step to take
Mhm.
into to buying a home. So a lot of people get stuck. What do I do? What's the first step I do to getting a home? How can I and go through the process? You need to get in touch with You can get in touch with me. I have a couple of friends and family that I've sat down with that they even think they could get a home. We have created plans, set goal, put some strategies in place on people have I'm setting 1 year goal. Okay, I cannot buy a home right now because these are the steps I need to follow, but I can buy a home in 1 year or 2 years. So we can come up with a young 1 year or 2 year goal, or however long you're comfortable with setting our goals, and we can start working towards you getting a home. I know a lot of people have issues because one of the steps of getting a home is first of all getting a pre-approval letter. And before you get a pre-approval letter, you need to have an okay credit score, you need to have that down payment, you need to have that closing cost. But I tell people, fixing your credit. There are a lot of companies that will work with you even if you have bad credits to get you that pre-approval and loan. And also the down payment, there are down payment program assistant program that is out there that can work with people to help them with that down payment, because a lot of people struggle with saving money for down payment or closing costs. But there are companies, there are people out there who can help you with that. You just need to get in touch with the right agent. You can call me. My number is 267-980-6520, 267-980-6520, and I can come out to you. I'm willing to come out to you, sit down with you, and create a plan on how we can get you into homes. Tama, you was supposed to have my information up on the page
I
so people
know.
have it and you get it. I hope
So
that.
no, I understand. That's my fault. As I said, technical difficulties. But listen, the goal is to, as we start this process, this is just like ice breaking, but the goal will be able to go through this. And there will be time we'll create the official flyers, get people, 2 week notice to come and go what we can do. I really respect your time taking out to be here, but it's because of the passion you have for what you do, but more to that, the love to see people grow into their own God given purpose. Like, why would people feel that you can own something? Why would people feel you can't do that? And that's some of the things we have in common. And I can tell you, that is so much more important to me. And just by sacrificing the time, today is New Year's Day anyway. Well, Happy New Year. I know we have all the different resolutions, but yes, the goal is, guys, as you go out there today making resolution, why is you just say, my resolution for this end of this year is to have a home.
Yes, let home ownership be one
Yeah.
of the goals because it's so
Like,
important. It's so
yep.
important. It's an investment. And one of the things I tell people about home, buying a home, is one of the safest and best investment you can make. And then it's one of the few investment that you can make and use the investment while you
Yep.
invest in it, right?
Yep.
You when you put your money in the stock market, you technically cannot be using your money while
No.
you're there. But home ownership, you can buy a home and live in a home while it growing money for you. So it's just a
Well,
win-win situation if you buy a home.
well, thanks so much. Let me ask you, is there any word you have for me today, or question, or anything you want to talk about that we didn't talk about?
Not really. I'm just passionate, and my goal is just to get as many Liberians, many minority into homes because we need to build wealth, and we cannot build wealth if we're not getting into home ownership. There are few investment out there that can grow wealth as home ownership, so we need to take advantage of home ownership. There are a lot of programs out there that can help minority get into homes, and we need to look into that. Stop being comfortable renting. Be uncomfortable renting. So that's all I have.
Wow, I love that. Well, you hear it from our Frances there, Tyler. We say thank you for being on the show today. We will have different episode, and I promise you, at that time, all of your information will be out there, and we'll have that professionally done and make sure it's sent a couple of weeks ago. But I think the end of the year, there were a lot of things falling into place. I tend to really push our guy and trying to get this done. But I really appreciate your boldness. I can tell you, you have been very fantastic. Let me tell you something. You are an inspiration to a lot of women out there who had that fear of not doing stuff, stepping out to be able to follow that their dream. You stood up here and you help inspire people, and I'm just so proud of you. So I will give you some update down the road with the flyer. I have the photo already. Everything will be done.
Thank you.
So guys, we'll be ending our live broadcast at this time. Want to say thank you, and always remember, stay safe. Let love be the key that drive your life. You know, always be that person that help inspire other people. Let be the people that help connect people to people rather than people using people to get things. God has given all the fantastic gifts and talent. Wherever you are, wherever you do, always use that. Go in peace and let God be with you and have a
Thank you
blessed
for
night.
having me. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
So I'll be ending the life. Friends are hanging. I'll just end the life here.